acknowledged as the son of the devil. Upon arrival to the small village, he begins to battle Dracula's followers. Van Helsing is eventually bitten by a werewolf and escapes the human condition by becoming a werewolf himself. Using his newly acquired abilities as a werewolf, he locates and defeats Dracula. The all-seeing eye is seen only once in the movie, at the beginning, where it graces the bandana Van Helsing wears to conceal his identity. The movie The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus is about a traveling band of street performers who are more than what they seem. The traveling stage they perform on actually contains another dimension. Those who enter into this alternate dimension can become and experience anything they imagine. In the movie, an old man named Dr. Parnassus has gambled away the soul of his daughter to the movie's villain, a character called Mr. Nick, who collects people's souls. Dr. Parnassus attempts to free his daughter's soul from the wager by providing the villain with other people's souls. The all-seeing eye and pyramid are spotted on the Doctor's traveling stage. It's also worth noting that the villain's name, Mr. Nick, is very close to Old Nick, which has long been used as an alternative name for the devil. This villain is also explicitly called the devil in the movie. National Treasure is about a large, ever-growing treasure that has been handed down to one owner after another for ages. Eventually, the large cache of jewels and precious metals ends up in the hands of a group of knights called the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar, portrayed as noble heroes, feared that the treasure would fall into the hands of the British Empire, so they hid the treasure and left a series of clues regarding its whereabouts so that future generations could locate it. The movie's villain, an Englishman named Ian Howe, intends on cashing in on the treasure by following the clues left by the Freemasons. The protagonist, Ben Gates, played by Nicolas Cage, is also on the trail of the great national treasure. In the movie, the all-seeing eye and pyramid were symbols of the Knights Templar, who would later rename themselves the Freemasons. Sometimes the pyramid and all-seeing eye are seen in a movie or TV show without a specific use or context, as if it had no other apparent purpose other than to be seen. The first of these instances is a series of movies called Halloween Town. In 3 out of the 4 Halloween Town movies, the all-seeing eye can be seen on the door of a taxi that acts as the town's cab service. Being There is a 1979 film about a simpleton gardener named Chauncey Gardner. The main character's mannerisms remind the viewer of Dustin Hoffman's Rain Man. But unlike Rain Man and his superb mathematical abilities, Chauncey has no redeeming qualities or special talents aside from being mistaken by other people as profound and insightful. As the movie progresses, the viewer can hardly tell who's dumber, Chauncey or the countless people who have mistaken his simpleton expressions as deep and profound. At the end of the movie, a group of men are burying one of the president's top advisors who took Chauncey under his wing. Mysteriously, the men conclude that Chauncey is the only candidate that could take the place of the old man who has recently passed away. The all-seeing eye is seen on the final resting place of the president's late advisor. Just before the ending credits, a perplexing scene takes place as Chauncey is witnessed walking on water. The 1973 movie Holy Mountain, similar to El Topo, was going for surrealistic and artsy, but only manages to be absurd and blasphemous to boot, where almost every scene is a mockery of Jesus Christ. At the beginning of this senseless tale, Jesus undergoes what appears to be some kind of initiation as he approaches the 2 pillars of the Tree of Life. This is later confirmed when he was told the words, to know, to dare, to want, and to keep silent. Each of these statements represents one of the magical elements, and all 4 are often said during occult initiation rituals. This ridiculous story surrounds the life of Jesus and 8 others as they journey to a place called the Holy Mountain, where it is alleged that one is bestowed with immortality. The all-seeing eye appears in the film as a room where the members of Jesus' group throw their money and egos into the fire and vow to gain immortality by reaching the holy mountain. Why is the meaning of the eye confined to so few contexts in so many movies and television shows? And why is the all-seeing eye's uses correspond to satanic and mythological interpretations? The surprising answer is that the aforementioned movies and TV shows are in fact retelling a very real story based on the gods of Egypt, where each time the story is altered slightly so that it does not resemble any previous retelling of Egyptian myth. The sun and all-seeing eye, once symbols of protection and divinity, have now become emblems of evil. Clearly, there are repetitive themes regarding the use and context of the all-seeing eye in popular media. It is also clear that these repetitive themes are mostly in line with satanic and mythological uses of this ancient symbol. Further, the years of 2000 to 2009 saw more use of the all-seeing eye than every instance in the previous 3 decades combined. Most of the time, the all-seeing eye is a villain, like the Egyptian god Set. Other times, it is the mark of a chosen one, like the Egyptian god Horus. And still in other cases, a superweapon, like the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet. If one chooses to mix the perspective of Egyptian mythology with modern-day Satanists, they would come to the conclusion that the all-seeing eye is a superweapon or a position of power in which Satan is the present beholder of.